Last week, the world's travel and tourism industry gathered here at Excel in London's Docklands for one of the biggest events in the annual travel calendar. World Travel Market is the place to catch up on current trends in the travel industry and suss out future destinations. And this was a particularly special year. WTM, as it's called, was 25 years old, and we were there to celebrate its silver anniversary. There are more than 190 countries exhibiting here, and organisers say they expect about 45,000 people to attend. So it's a huge event, and there's really no better place to catch up on the latest travel news, but it's not open to the public. So here are a few of the inside stories you can look forward to in the next half hour. Following a hit Olympics, Greece has big plans for tourism. It's been the worst hurricane season in the Caribbean in almost a century, so what can visitors expect this winter? Glasgow positions itself as the Scottish trendsetter. Macau is gambling on being Southeast Asia's answer to Vegas. And we look ahead to the next 25 years of travel. Two sporting events dominated 2004. In June, Portugal hosted a hugely successful Euro Championship, drawing in football fans from all over the continent. At the same time, most of us were wincing at the prospect of a huge Greek cock-up on the Olympic front. How wrong we were. August 2004, and the Olympics were coming home to Greece for the first time in over 100 years. One problem though, the Greeks didn't seem to know whether they wanted the Games or not. All their grand designs seemed to be just that, designs. By June, the IOC were issuing directives and deadlines, anything to ensure the Greeks would be ready to rumble on August the 13th. The result was a triumph of 11th hour management. Athens hosted one of the best games in recent years, an unforgettable 17 days of competition. And now Greece is intent on building on its success. As I understand it, tourism actually slowed down during the Olympics. Has that changed now?
It is the same all around the world. Whenever a city is organizing Olympic Games, we register slow down. But now it's the moment to take off. That's why we're getting prepared for the day after by exploiting the post-Olympics here. As you know, Greece...
So obviously you've had a lot of investment. How are you actually making the most of that?
Well, first of all, we have in front of us a very promising landscape for doing business and investments in Greece. Beyond that, Greece, thanks to the Olympic Games, after this successful organization, and given the fact that it is right now, and it was in the past, but now even more the safer country in the world, it's becoming very attractive. Beyond the fact that it has a fantastic natural landscape and a very rich culture. So we work very hard in the spirit of our new strategy.
So what new reasons would someone have for coming to Greece now?
A new Greece with full respect to its past and its environment, more modern Greece. We changed the country in order to prepare ourselves for the Olympics. This infrastructure is put at the service of the post-Olympics Greece.
Can you give me an example of what that actually means?
Modernization, new transport system, new technologies, new ring roads.
And is your accommodation
it was a revolution.
Because there was criticism of that.
There was a criticism in the past, and thanks to criticism we became better. And right now we have more advantages than in the past. I'm very optimistic for the future.
2004 hasn't been good news for everyone, though. The Caribbean experienced its worst hurricane season in almost a century. Hurricane Charlie hit in August, followed in rapid succession by Hurricanes Francis, Ivan and Jean. Many islands were affected and thousands were left homeless. Damage is estimated to be in hundreds of millions. So does this mean basically that this winter is a write-off as far as travel is concerned?
Oh, not at all. The Caribbean is open for business. I think sometimes people don't appreciate the spread of the Caribbean, from the Bermudas in the north to the south, Suriname and Guyana, to Barbados, to the Bahamas. So we have well over 32 countries, and only a few countries have been affected by the hurricanes.
So which islands have been the worst affected then?
Cayman Islands, the Grenada, of course. Jamaica's only been affected a bit on its southwest coast. Grand Bahama Island has been affected twice, in fact, but the other islands of the Bahamas, and they have over 600, are quite fine. Even with Grenada, Carriacou, which is a small island next door, is open for business as well. The Dominican Republic has been affected, parts of Cuba. But I think the message that the Caribbean wants to give is that we are open for business. The vast majority of our countries are not affected and have not been affected. We're very sad, of course, with those countries that have been affected. But there are so many to choose from. I think if you're in Jamaica, you're so far away from Barbados, for instance. You know, if you think the Caribbean is a very, very wide expanse with hundreds and hundreds of countries and islands. So it's open for business. And if people want to assist the Caribbean, then they should come and take their holidays, and that's the best way to help these countries to rebuild.
So this is the first time you've been to World Travel Market?
Yes, it is the very first time.
You must forgive my ignorance, but I don't really know where it is. Where is Gabon?
That's why we're here, because everybody asks the same question. It's actually in Africa, on the equator and on the coast of the Atlantic.
Okay, so sell it to me then. Why would I want to go there if I was a tourist?
Well, you want to go there because there is lots and lots of rainforest, absolutely beautiful. Many parts of the country are still unexplored, so you feel like a real explorer when you go there. And there's a long coast of beautiful beaches as well. Rivers, lagoons, a bit of everything. It's wonderful.
I noticed that you feature the leatherback turtle in your publicity. Is it good for animal watching then?
It's good for animal watching, yes. Lots of leatherback turtles come to lay their eggs. They are enormous and very wonderful to see. You also have in the forest elephants and buffaloes, lots of hippos, crocodiles. Bird watching is wonderful too.
Gabon, of course, is just one of many destinations that aren't necessarily that familiar.
Mali has a great history, a great past, and people come into this country to visit the cities of Timbuktu, Djenné, and the Dogon country. We also have the Sahara in the north of the Mali.
Lesotho is a beautiful country to visit. It's a very unique, special country with beautiful sceneries. Like, for instance, we have got the highest single drop waterfall in the whole of Southern Africa in Lesotho, which drops 192 meters above sea level. We also have the highest peak in the whole of Southern Africa in Lesotho, which is 3,482 meters. So in Lesotho, it's an adventure destination. You can do pony trekking, hiking, there's culture, there's history. There is all.
Macau is equally unfamiliar to most people, but according to those in the know, that situation's about to change. For centuries, the Portuguese ran Macau. In fact, it was the last European possession to be handed back to China. That happened in 1999, and now apparently the plan is to turn it into Southeast Asia's answer to Las Vegas. So, Manuel, how are you going to do that?
Well, first of all, we are in a very good location. We are quite near Hong Kong, for those who might not know where we are. Secondly, we have been around for many centuries, like you said, and we had a very good combination between European and Chinese flavors that reflect in every type of different aspects of life.
And have you already got a gambling tradition there?
Of course, for many years, and there's a lot of new facilities coming in, especially new hotels. And I would say that more than gambling, it will be more for the entertainment and leisure side of it, rather than just pure gambling.
But do you really think that you can rival Las Vegas?
We don't need to rival Las Vegas. Just quoting Stanley Ho's, one of the license holders, the pie is big enough for everyone. We don't have to cut any slice from anyone to get the people going there. Just to give you an example, presently we have almost 15 million people traveling to Macau. So we believe that we will achieve that.
Away from gambling, what else has Macau got to offer?
We offer, I would say, a unique identity, a very strong cultural and historical background. As you mentioned, the Portuguese have been there for many centuries, and that reflects very much in different aspects of life.
Manuel, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, this is the real thing, and I don't think America's #1 holiday resort has to look to its laurels quite yet. Next year is a big year for Vegas. In May 2005, the US's fastest growing city hits 100 with huge centenary celebrations planned throughout the year. The hotel boom that brought us the likes of the Excalibur, Luxor and the Venetian has long slowed down, but entrepreneur Steve Wynn is opening his new hotel, Wynn Las Vegas, in 2005. This is just the biggest of many larger-than-life events happening in Sin City in the next couple of years.
Happy 100th anniversary, JJ. You're looking very well on it.
Well, thank you so much. Feeling good.
And what can we expect over the next year?
Oh, there's going to be a big party in Las Vegas next year. We're going to start out on New Year's Eve with a huge fireworks celebration and carry it through a birthday party for the whole year. May 15th will be the actual date of the birthday, so there'll be another big party in Las Vegas then, and again on July 4th.
Now, what's this about 100 weddings? It's not something to do with the Moonies, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think that they're planning on bringing some nice couples in from all different locations, and we're certainly hoping that the UK will be involved in this and doing 100 weddings on 100 days.
Wow. And now it's known, obviously, as a city with spectacular hotels. And I hear that there's another new one on the horizon, the Wynn Las Vegas. I know it's still under wraps, but can you tell us anything about it?
It's going to be a 5-star deluxe hotel. It'll open April of 2005. It will have its own Ferrari and Maserati dealership in the hotel, so if you win big, I guess you just drive home. But it's going to be spectacular. 2,800 new rooms into Las Vegas. We'll be up around 132,000 rooms.
And have you got any new big names?
There's always big names in Las Vegas. Of course, we have Elton John, Celine Dion.
Yes?
Yes, we've got some new Cirque du Soleil shows coming on. One will be opening next month. So always something new and exciting going on in Las Vegas as far as entertainment goes.
Coming up in part 2, 25 years of World Travel Market, and the travel industry looks forward to the next 25 years. Glasgow positions itself as Scotland's City of Style. Britain plans a party to celebrate its maritime heritage in 2005, and Cyprus is set to attract the well-heeled holidaymaker.
That's all coming up after the break. Don't go away.
The Netherlands Board of Tourism and Conventions kicked off World Travel Market in style. Dutch style, that is. 8 o'clock on the morning of day one, and they arrived at Excel on their bikes.
Hey, well done.
Thank you very much.
So is this some kind of comment on London transport then?
No, not really, but it is another way of losing £5, put it that way. Yeah.
But there is a serious reason for doing this, isn't there?
Absolutely. We're doing this for the World Travel Market Appeal, which is Just a Drop charity, and we're hoping to raise money for that, with children dying around the world from water contamination, diarrhea, cholera, amongst others. That's what we're trying to do in a Dutch way.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Our water is a reflection of ourselves. Ever since we first crawled up out of it, we've always built our villages, towns and cities alongside it. But it has to be clean. Just a Drop is the travel and tourism industry's unique way of giving the world something back.
People need water to survive. It's the most basic need. So a very simple thing such as a hand pump that's dug deep enough to deliver fresh water to a community has a major, major impact on the health of that community.
And Fiona Jeffrey joins us now. Well, you've had a great year and you've been literally putting your money where your boots are, climbing up mountains, haven't you?
Yes, 30 of us travelled all the way up to Machu Picchu, Jane, for 5 days. No access to water, no flush toilets, camping rough, but we raised over £30,000 for Just a Drop, which was just fantastic.
And for those of us who are maybe not quite up to climbing mountains, how do we donate?
Well, access our website, www.justadrop.org, and just remember, every little bit helps, and we're grateful for everything that we get.
We're celebrating 25 years of travel, and I wonder, what do you think's had the greatest impact on travel in that time?
Well, more recently, without question, 9/11. It's taken at least 3 years for the industry to recover.
But it is now recovering, you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. But it has changed the way people do think about travelling, and that's why it's had a major impact, and that will continue beyond 3 years, even though there's a recovery. But the other key thing is obviously the impact of the low-cost airlines and making travel much more accessible to many more people.
Which is very positive, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what do you think's in store for us in the next 25 years?
There's no limitation, really. There'll be space travel and in all its opportunities and boundaries. And the key thing, I think, will be independent travel. People having more specialist holidays. If you want to go kayaking down the Zambezi or bird watching in Malaysia, all of those sort of things will be available to everybody.
It was the year of Rubik's Cube and the Post-it. We all wondered who shot JR and were wowed by The Empire Strikes Back. In 1980, the first World Travel Market was held at Olympia in West London. It was a modest beginning, only 40 countries and 13,000 visitors. Since then, WTM has been opened by 6 royals and has been attended by celebrities as varied as musical impresario Andrew Lloyd Webber, Irish dance troupe Riverdance, and film star Michael Douglas. Nowadays, it's one of the most successful business exhibitions in the world, and it's estimated that the average total value of business conducted by each exhibitor is creeping towards the £100,000 mark. Despite the naysayers and terrorists, WTM and the travel industry seem healthier than ever. So what do the next 25 years have in store?
Possibly in the next 25 years, I think they will get rid of classes, so there'll be no first and no economy. Everyone will travel as one, really expensively, I think.
If there are as big a changes as there has been in the last 25 years, which actually coincides with the whole of my athletics career, I think they'll be momentous.
I believe the next 25 years will be the era where travel and tourism will be affordable to the many, not just a few. I think it will be a non-elitist activity, and thanks to technological innovations and the internet, it will be accessible to everybody around the world.
I would like to think that in 25 years' time we'll see a lot more of what I've just been talking about on that stage behind me, which is responsible tourism, i.e. people going on holidays that not only investigate the local environment, but look after it as well.
The world is getting smaller every single second, and we can go anywhere we want to. All I hope is that one day in the future, one of my 3 grandsons will take me to the moon.
If any destination has proven what a difference 25 years can make, it's Glasgow. From the opening of the Burrell Collection in 1983 through the 1990 European City of Culture and 1999 UK City of Architecture and Design, Glasgow has reinvented itself as one of Europe's most cutting-edge cities. It's inventive in the arts and fashion, and its restaurants and nightlife are up there with the best. In March of this year, Glasgow launched a new brand, Glasgow Scotland with Style. And in its first 6 months, 134,000 extra tourists visited the city, spending over £15.5 million. For those in the know, style, however, is something Glasgow has never lacked.
So this association of Glasgow and style goes back a long way, doesn't it?
It does. Glasgow Scotland with Style draws its inspiration from Charles Rennie Mackintosh and the Glasgow style movement of the 1900s. Glasgow is not just about architecture and design. It's the largest retail centre outside London in the UK, and there is a fantastic array of shops and all the boutique hotels and restaurants to go along with that.
Why are you having to rebrand Glasgow as stylish? Didn't you do that 20 years ago?
Well, we did, but cities compete, and basically tourists have a choice about where they want to go, and you really want to come to Glasgow for the wide range of things that you can do. It's the most exciting city in the UK.
Don't you still have that problem, though, that people think, oh, we'll go to Edinburgh for a bit of culture? What do I come to Glasgow for?
Oh, you come to Glasgow for fun. Absolutely. Glasgow has so much to offer. You come to Glasgow for the restaurants, for the nightlife, for the clubbing, for the museums, which are all free. You come to Glasgow for the architecture and design.
And you've got a few festivals coming up, haven't you?
In January, it's Celtic Connections. That's when over 100,000 people converge on the city and really see one of the world's greatest events in Glasgow taking place in a celebration of Celtic music. It's a must, not just for Scots, but for people everywhere. It's a really brilliant one. And Macintosh, again, features really highly this year. We've got a fantastic festival taking place from June right the way through to September, culminating in a really fantastic Macintosh exhibition in the whole month of September. So come to Glasgow during that period. You will not be disappointed.
October the 21st next year marks the 200th anniversary of the Battle of Trafalgar and the death of Nelson. As well as Trafalgar Weekend itself, which involves a remembrance service in St Paul's Cathedral and a party in Trafalgar Square, the anniversary is inspiring a year-long festival commemorating Britain's maritime heritage. It's called See Britain, and here to tell us all about it is David Cornby. It's obviously a very big thing indeed, but perhaps you could just give us a few highlights, David.
Yeah, See Britain 2005 runs for the whole year, and it embraces a series of events and festivals and programs and activities all over the country, in fishing villages, ports, cities, towns, all over the place, from the Mersey River Festival in Liverpool, the Tall Ships Race in Newcastle, and of course a lot happening in the Portsmouth area, with a big international fleet review that the Navy are putting on, and a big Festival of the Sea taking place in Portsmouth at the beginning of July that will run for 3 or 4 days. And then there are things in London that are more linked to the particular commemoration of Nelson and what he did.
This quite clearly isn't just a London event then.
No, it's really all over the country. There are events in Scotland, in Northern Ireland and in Wales too, and as far away as the Oyster Festival in Falmouth and the powerboat racing in Barrow-in-Furness, and things happening in Hull and Grimsby and Great Yarmouth. Everywhere where a community has a link with the sea, we are saying celebrate it, tell your story, do something which your own people will enjoy and will say, gosh, this is what the sea means to us. That's what it's about.
It is year-long, but is there a particular climax, do you think?
Well, there are two climaxes. One is the end of June, beginning of July, which is when we have these big naval events and Portsmouth, and then around the Trafalgar weekend, when there's celebration all over the country.
Cyprus has long been a favourite with Brits and Germans. It attracts a mixed bag of holidaymakers ranging from clubbers in Ayia Napa to families in Paphos and older holidaymakers who enjoy the climate and cultural attractions. But Cyprus wants to vary its appeal further. It's positioning itself as a year-round destination and hopes to attract activity holidaymakers to its mountains, golfers to its greens, health seekers to its spas, and more upmarket visitors to a range of new five-star hotels.
So apart from hotels, what else are you doing to make it more upmarket?
To upgrade our airports, our infrastructure, our restaurants, our cuisine, and everything in Cyprus.
Sounds like a big project. Is that going to take years?
No, it will take a few years, but we are working very hard and we believe that we are going to achieve it.
You're talking about it being a year-round destination. How realistic is that?
Of course, if you consider that right now we have 30 degrees centigrade in Cyprus, so we have a perfect climate throughout the year, yes, we can achieve it. And we can add also some new products to our...
well, it's quite good for sport, I would think. You can get winter sport
golf
holidays
courses,
there.
Sports tourism, cultural tourism, conference and intensive, and I believe that we can achieve.
Sounds good. I'm buying it already. Well, that was this year's World Travel Market. We're nearly out of time, I'm afraid, but before we go, here's a taste of some of the other things that were happening during the week. Well,
Well, that really is it from World Travel Market. I hope we've given you some ideas for your next holiday. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next year. Bye-bye.